Yo, what's up, everybody? So, it's Best Side of Millions Day Trading Republic. Today is just a recap video of what happened on Friday. Friday was a wild day. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can here. I'll zoom in a little bit. I didn't pay my X. It's been on auto payment, and then I realized they charged me $400. So it was like 185 when it first came out. Now it's like 380 something. But whatever, we'll fix it later. So one of the craziest things was Friday, which was kind of going into the week. I'm sure a lot of people from, when I closed out on Friday, I was like, man, this is crazy. It was almost an exhausting day. And I looked at, my P&L, and I was like, how did this happen? And just seeing some of the veteran traders come out and talk about how their day was at the end of the day kind of made me feel like, okay, I wasn't the only one. Even Madass was talking about, man, what a crazy day finishing in the 5-figure club. Very exhausting. I agree. Given how active the market was, nonstop plays, started the day really rough. I was up at least about 30K. Had to manage some of my trades on the phone. I was gone. I had to leave my desk, which was terrible because I couldn't manage 3 trades. I was in 3-4 different trades at the same time, and I could only manage 1 trade on that little screen. By the time I exit that screen and look at the other screen, my other trade had already taken. So it kind of threw my day off completely till I got back from my desk. And, just seeing even, David, even though I made more money than him today, I think I made more money than Madass today. Yeah, Madass did 12, David did 13, and it's not about making more money. It's just about winning. And I think we all won today. David won today, Madass won today, I won today. And I agree, ASST was very choppy. I tried to trade this several times. It just wasn't doing anything. Like, it was just one of those trades where it was just really rough. I mean, if you look at this trade, like throughout the day, it just didn't give much range. Like it's just been popping and dropping, popping and dropping, popping and dropping. Nothing really happened. So every time we're trying to trade this breakout range that you see here, what ends up ultimately happening, that breakout range, it just continues to reject. So you think you got it, and then you don't got it. And what's crazy is in the pre-market or overnight hours, the stock was damn near $10. So I guess everybody was kind of anticipating that move or that reversal, and it just never happened. I think the shorts were trying to get some range on it too, never were able to get some range on it. And Madass is, well-known shorter in the market, and he does pretty well. So for him to come out and even say like, man, there was no range, that was crazy. GPUs was another one. I was up pretty nicely on this one, and I think my biggest regret was not taking profits when I had them. I was thinking that it had broke out and we're about to see some significant range. Unfortunately, that did not happen. We had to break out here. I think it was like 994, or yes, it was like 9 something when I was in my car. And then it just sort of rejected and just sold off. As you can see, like there's massive sell-off that just literally happened. And remember, this is like 15 minutes. So in literally 15 minutes, we just went straight down. And that threw me off completely because I did not expect such a significant rejection to occur like on GPUs. It was strong. It was looking like, okay, you see it had the uptrend. It was looking like it was going to be something that was going to be great. Unfortunately, it got rejected and rejected hard, and I missed out on those profits. So it looks like it's still holding the trend line. I was thinking about buying some after hours. I kept buying and selling back just because I didn't want to hold it. But given the fact that Bitcoin is up like 100K, I won't be surprised Monday morning this thing is at least 875 or something, heading towards a breakout. So that'll definitely be on the watch list. I don't want to fall in love or be biased with it, but it moves really good. Moving a little bit forward, just kind of going through a recap and just going through, some of the stuff that happened that day. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me as Trading Gas Money, obviously, because I'm a nurse anesthesia resident, and I plan to at least build this up by the time 3 years comes, where it will no longer be free. It's free now, if you want to reach out to me, but my 3-year or 5-year goal is that it would now become a private kind of invite only kind of thing, where some of the best traders that have grown with me throughout these 3 years will be in the room and who've been with me in the past. Just moving along, because we want to always talk about Verify reports. Here's the week with the Verify reports. I always look at days and I say, damn, I could have made XYZ. And I think every trader looks at that, but I think the way to really look at this is just, did you win the day? Whether you made $10, whether you made $15, did you win? Because you could have drawdown days of negative $567, and that kind of changes everything. So this is for the month of May. And for the month of May, we're currently up, as you can see, 68,000. Could it have been more? Absolutely. But am I okay with 68,000? I'll take it. I had a bad day here, which was negative 30K. And I think I was just spiraling that day. I think I kept trying to size into stuff like HIMS, and HIMS really pissed me off. Just because it kind of took off and ran like massively later. I think I traded GPUs a couple of times, and it's so funny that you see like sometimes taking these losses, but when you look back, these stocks are a lot higher than where they were at that time. Weight Watchers, I think I was trading that. I was hoping it would go to $1. It's a bankruptcy company, didn't do it, but I think I was just being aggressive in the after hours. As you can see, I took a $4,800 loss at 522. And I just was trying to make it back, man. And sometimes you get in those moments where you're just trying to make it back, and trying to make it back is not really the right move. You can see I was starting to take huge losses this day. Bull killed me. It kept doing the false breakouts. That's why every time you see me on my Twitter, I'm always pissed. I'm like, Bull. Like, if you see some of my tweets on Bull, you'll be like, yo, why is this guy always talking about Bull? I think Bull is just that heartbreaking stock. Like, it's one of those stocks where, like, man, this stock really pumped during its IPO price. And in its IPO price, it pumped so significantly that you would think that Bull has range. Like, look at this. Like, Bull is literally at $79. So now we're like at a breakout point where we got the signals, we got the buy signals, we got everything. It's just can't get past this 1830. As you see these big large red candles, there's a lot of aggressive sellers, maybe short sellers there, but I think Bull still has some range to at least come back to at least 32 or $25, even $20. At least we can make profit. But for the last few weeks, Bull has just been playing this ping pong game where it'll pong up to $18 and shoot back down to $16. As you can see, the price is now $16. It's down 10% again. So every time I'm on my Twitter, I'm always pissed at Bull, and I'm always screaming at Bull. And I beat Bull the other day, and I was happy. I was like, $2,900. But I was like, I still love you. But you have days where I'm like, man, Bull just broke my effing heart again. I'm sick and tired of this piece of stock can't run for So that's pretty much how it goes. So, but, just circling back a little bit, reviewing the trades I think is the most pivotal thing that we can do here. It allows us to learn, it allows us to use data to see what we're doing wrong, what are we doing right, and to try to go from there. I think, as you can see, like some days I've took astronomical trades compared to others, and these are days where I'm probably up a lot and I'm just taking shots. And one thing I could say is I have made more money on these 2 days, but I start giving it back. And when I'm looking at the data, I think the biggest thing is I'm giving it back because I'm over trading. I'm taking more trades, 89 trades, 62 trades. Compared to this week, I took, obviously doesn't show the previous day, I only took 76 trades that week, and out in week 2 I'm at 338. Now, if I didn't take that substantial loss, we'll probably be at 100K right now plus. But we took the loss, we made it back, and we made more for the rest of the week, which is part of the game, which is part of trading, right? This day should have been, and I always say this shit should have been, I don't have to say should have been, but it could have been a 50K day. I gave it back. Like I was up like 12,000, gave it back. Like I was up GPUs at some point. I was up like 9,000, gave it all back. It's crazy, like how much money I actually gave back on Friday. versus I had to fight my way back up to win. ASST, I think I took an 11K loss on that. You can see I kept trying to trade AST. I was trying to trade that breakout. I gave up 11K. So when you look at the money how much I've given up on Friday, this number should probably be at least another 20,000 on Friday, 25,000 on Friday, give or take, because those are huge losses that I shouldn't be taking 11K loss just because I'm overly aggressively trading one stock the whole day. Like my max loss per stock that I really want to lose is maybe 2 to 3K. But if I'm losing 11K on one stock that I traded multiple times to build up an 11K loss, that is terrible trading. And it just looked like every time like ASST was going to do it. It was going to do it. It was going to do it. It looked like it was going to go. It was going to go. And I'm like, okay, this is time now. And I think I just got a lot too biased on it because, you know, it had that pre-market move where it ran all the way to 1039. So I'm looking for that pop. As you can see in this hour candle, I'm like, oh, wow, they just popped it from 688 to 889. Buy. Then I buy the top and it shoots back down. Then it's like, okay, it's gonna go again. I buy, and it shoots back down. Okay, it's gonna go again. I buy, and it shoots back down. I just kept building that loss, building that loss, building that loss, building that loss, and that's what made ASST one of the worst trades that I could have taken on Friday. One of the worst. And I think when you look at just even from the shorting standpoint, you know, when you look at you know, some of the traders like Madass who talked about it. You know, other traders who've also talked about it, like David. I think we all can agree that, you know, I think the biggest thing there, why is this thing not opening? I think the biggest thing there was that ASST it just wasn't giving much. And I think that's what messed us all up. You know, I think that's what made it a rough day. You know, it made it difficult. So, you know, ASST, I mean, he made $408 on it. It wasn't bad. His biggest loss is NVVE. You know, I think David, what did David do? Let me see what David did. David did something. Why don't I see David anymore? Did I pass it? David. So David, ASST, he felt the same way. Choppy as hell, but managed to finish green. I managed to finish green somehow. I agree. I think we all look back and are like, Friday was so good, but it was rough. You know, it was legit rough. It was legit rough. But overall, if subscribe to the content. I'm going to be doing recap videos every day of my trading. Today was just a late recap video. It was Mother's Day. You know, just many things was going on the weekend. I just couldn't get to it, but today is Friday, so we did a recap for Friday video. Expect a recap for Monday video. Whether it's good or bad, the recap video will be done. To Best Side to Millions, Day Trading Republic. I am a nurse anesthesia resident that trade stocks. You can follow me here, subscribe to my channel. More things will be on the way. Good luck.